Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the latest from H&K. It's the CC9 chambered in 9mm. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. And please consider supporting the channel on Utreon, where we can do some videos that we can no longer do on YouTube. This is H&K's entry into the micro compact market, and it actually is a pretty good entry. It has a flush 10-round magazine, and it also came with a 12-round magazine that has a bit of a pinky extender, and it's thin and it's reasonably small. Now it does have a slightly larger grip than some in this territory. They actually, on their website, they brag it as a 4-finger grip, which kind of is a little bit of marketing, because the one finger, the trigger finger, really shouldn't be gripping the gun. Its job is to operate the trigger. So it's these three that do the gripping. And what I get with it is kind of a 2.5-finger grip with the flush magazine in. And then I do get a full 3-finger grip, barely, with the full size, or the pinky extender magazine in it. So overall you do get a good grip on the gun, and it is easy to hold well. Probably counting the thumb, which nobody else counts the thumb, they just count the fingers down here. But anyway you look at it, it does have a nice grip, though it is a slightly longer grip. It's 4.6 inches tall with the flush magazine in it. So if I put the flush magazine in it, it's 4.6 inches tall. It's 6.03 from front to back, and it comes in at 0.99 inches. And they mention on their website that it's less than an inch, which is true. Barely, but it's less than an inch. Has a 2-slot Picatinny rail. It does have an internal drop safety and the inertial toggle on the trigger. And as you can see with the close-up, it has front and rear serrations, and they're really well done, really easy to get a hold of. This particular one does have replaceable back straps. It comes with two. The standard one that's on here, the smaller one, and there is a larger one. Some of these micro compacts omit that feature, but the H&K does have it. I did find it to be comfortable to hold, and I did find it a little difficult to shoot well. And I think it's a combination of just the way it fits, even though it is a nice comfortable grip, and then of course blackout sights, which I'm not as fond of. It does have a front tritium of sight with a ring around it, a green ring around it, to make it very visible, but the rear sight is a blackout. Made it a little tougher to do bullseye with it. Of course, these are self-defense weapons, and combat effective groups were fairly easy to pull with it. It does have a couple other features though. It's optics ready. You remove the plate. It's the RMSC footprint, so you can drop any RMSC footprint optic on here without plates. And if I tilt a little more, you'll see there's the slide stop on the right side, as well as a mag release, as well as on the left. So it's fully ambidextrous from a controls perspective. Of course, the takedown lever is only on the one side, but it only needs to be on the one side. It's well designed, and which is what you would expect from H&K. They even on their website call out the testing. They have little videos on the testing they've done. They do sand testing and mud testing. And I did watch the sand testing video, and they fire the gun and it's just an explosion of sand coming out of every nook and cranny of it, but it functions correctly. So they've designed it for hostile environments and tested it in hostile environments. And those are the types of things that you expect from H&K. That's, you know, that military level of quality you expect. It does have a 3.32-inch barrel with polygonal rifling, if I can get the camera to focus, which a lot of times it doesn't like to focus. There it goes. Polygonal rifling. And the rifling is very well machined, smooth. It's a very well constructed gun, and when I get it apart you'll see that the internals are also quite well constructed. The barrel and the slide have a DLC coating, so it should also be durable. So of course the trigger is an important thing, so let's talk about the trigger. Reasonable take up. It's not super short, but it's not a very long take up. Kind of a defined wall with a little bit of pull through it, and then a very definitive stop at the end. It comes in right around 5 pounds. The reset is reasonable, and there's a little bit of a bounce off the reset to get back on the wall. And it's overall a nice reset, but it's not super short. And one interesting thing about that, and then I'll show you the break again. One interesting thing, the length of pull, the distance from back here to the trigger, is the same as the VP9. So even though this is a smaller gun and a slim gun, if you're used to shooting a VP9, other than getting used to the grip being a little bit smaller, at least the positioning of your trigger finger and everything else should follow through with you. So it makes a good companion to a VP9, you know, a deep conceal versus, let's say, inside the waistband conceal. That's some of the things that you get H&K kind of thinking through the details of it. Even to the point where you've got stops, finger stops on here to position your finger off the trigger, and you've got one on the left side, so if you're a lefty holding this, you have that same feature. There are little rests for you to index your finger and find your proper location on the frame. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it apart and show you the internals. Easy to do. You start by locking it back, and then you flip this lever down. It can be a little challenge to get at. They've made it very thin and low profile in order to keep the overall gun thin, but it works well. It's well designed. And then once you do that, release the slide stop, and the gun comes apart. And notice what I didn't do. I didn't pull the trigger. It's not necessary with this. So the first thing you're going to notice is that it has a full-length rail on both sides. So it's really a robust rail system. You have the fire control group back here. If I move to the slide, it has a dual recoil spring and it's metal. Here's the barrel. Kind of a machine polished feed ramp with the NDLC or the DLC coating on it. This did feed reliably. It ate everything that we fed it. Well machined and nice and smooth. And I did show you the barrel of the polygonal rifling a little bit earlier in the video. And then there's a coating on here, and I'm not sure what the coating is. This is the drop safety piston. So there's a coating on this that presumably to make it a little bit smoother, but I'm not sure what it is. It's kind of a coppery color, but it can't be copper. Copper would be too soft. But all the rifling, or all the machining in here, by the way, is all nice and smooth and well done. Now there's not a lot of fancy polishing and things done in here. It's just very well machined. Reassembling it is easy. Well, you gotta put the barrel in it first. If you do it correctly, reassembly is actually pretty easy. Kind of self-centers. So when I pushed on this, it kind of wanted to self-center itself. Make sure that this arm is still down. Lock it back, flip the lever up. That's real easy to do. And you're back in operation. So easy to maintain, easy to live with. And if you put an optic on it, of course, that takes care of the blackout sight. Now, if you happen to like blackout sights, then it comes just the way you like it. But if you put an optic on it, and the RMSC optics, there's quite a few now that have that footprint, so there's a wide diversity of optics that'd be available to you. It would make a good concealed carry gun, as well as it's fun to shoot at the range. With the empty 10-round magazine in it, it weighs 20.4 ounces. On their website, they list it as 18.4 with no mag, and they do call out that it's no mag. I tend to do all the weights with a mag because that way it's consistent across all the guns that we do, but that's a reasonable weight. It's not super, super light, but it's also below the weight of a lot of other guns in the same category. So it would make a nice pocket gun, concealed carry gun, inside the waistband gun. Overall, I think it was a well done job, even beveling here to make it easier to holster. It was reliable, it worked well, did everything it needed to, the trigger was nice. Other than me having a little difficult time seeing the sights, it was functionally easy to shoot well. I like it. I think they've done a good job. Now it is an H&K. It doesn't have a comma in it like some of the H&K pricing. But I'm seeing these around $5.99. I couldn't find an MSRP listed, but they are a little bit on the pricier side of many other guns in this territory. But it's a reasonable price. It's not really overpriced. It's not way above other guns in this same territory. And I imagine once they're out there and there's plenty of them in the wild and the initial rush to get the first ones dies off, it'll probably come down, actually probably consistent with all the others in this market. So beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Player, and Rumble. And if you're looking for a good Micro 9, the CC9 from H&K might be the one. Thank you and have a great day.